Hey folks, welcome to another Triple T Thursday. For those just joining us, that's tools, tips, and talk, where we'll discuss info for the knife maker. Well, you can see I'm not in the shop today, I'm up in the office, because today we're going to look at another laser. And I know what you're going to say, yeah, didn't you just do a laser review? So about 2 months ago, I reviewed another laser, and recently the xTool folks reached out to me and said, would you like to review our laser? And I actually said no, because I just did one. But they were persistent, and I'm really glad they were. I'm going to take you through the xTool F1 laser, all of its uses, and I'm going to compare it to the laser pecker that I previously had, just as a comparison. Let's go take a look. So here's everything they sent me. This is the deluxe package. It comes with the laser, the sliding table, the rotary attachment for doing round objects, and the smoke purifier. Obviously you can get just the laser. I think just the laser is $1,500 or $1,450 or something like that, which is very competitive. This is basically almost the same specs as the Laser Pecker 4, and this one is considerably cheaper, and I actually like it better, and I'm going to tell you why in a little bit. So here's the laser. I didn't do a whole unboxing because there's no assembly. This comes fully assembled. You really just take it out of the box and you're ready to go. I've hooked it up. They include this flexible air hose, and I'll get into that a little bit later, but let's talk about the startup of this thing. So first, some features. So I really like the fact that this one has a sliding cover, and this is so you don't need the goofy glasses, and you can adjust the height. It stays at any height, so this is a really great feature. And you'll notice when it's down all the way, it's completely sealed inside, and that's important. Now I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. So this is both a diode laser and an IR laser in one. Obviously there's two lasers inside. The diode laser is great for cutting wood and your traditional lasering and cutting, but it also has the infrared pulse laser to do steel, to mark metal, which is what knife makers we want. It's got this, you can position this little thing if you're going to do repeated things like business cards, which I'll show you. You can take this right out. This thing is portable, so you can actually sit this against something. You can hold it at an angle. So that's pretty cool. You can also just take this off if you're just going to do some random piece like that. It's got a little knob on the side here. Hopefully that's in frame. Yeah. To let you go up and down. To focus the laser, because you need to bring the laser to the right height, you just either twist the knob up or down until the red and the blue converge. Okay, so here, and there we go. So now it's ready and focused on the very bottom. Obviously, if I'm going to put something on top of this, it's going to raise that up and I'll have to adjust it. But pretty good. So now let's talk about software and controlling this laser. And this is where I ran into problems, which was the very first thing, so that wasn't the greatest experience, but I did work through it. I have a Mac with, one of the most recent operating systems, and this Mac has got USB-C ports. I typically use one of these because I usually have a bunch of things plugged into this. It has a camera slot, so I plug this into here, and I use USB-A ports. And the machine comes with a USB-C, and for those of you, that's one of these guys, a USB-C to a USB-A cable. Okay, so I thought, okay, I'll just plug it into here, start it up. I could not get my Mac to recognize this device. And that's the only way to connect to this at first. So you have to connect to it through USB. So I was dead in the water because I couldn't connect to it. And I was watching someone else's YouTube video. I would put a reference, but I don't remember where it was. And he said he used a USB-C to USB-C. And as soon as I did that, worked in a snap. So you cannot use one of these ports, or at least I could not use one of these ports. And if you go to the instructions for xTool on Mac, they tell you to install some driver and all of that. I went through all that. None of that worked. That's for older versions of the Mac OS. If you just use a USB-C to USB-C to USB-C, you don't have to do any of that. So after doing that, you can either leave it connected through USB-C and run it that way, or after that's configured and you've connected to the device, you can set this thing up for Wi-Fi and put it on your Wi-Fi network, and then use the software either from your laptop or from your phone. Okay. Unfortunately, I wish it had a Bluetooth connection. That would have been better than USB. I think the USB should be optional and the primary connection should be Bluetooth to get that initial connection. I don't know why they didn't do Bluetooth. The LaserPecker does Bluetooth and it works quite well, especially considering, you know, you're probably standing near the machine. Bluetooth is better than a cable, but okay. Let's look at the back of the machine. I'll take this hose off here. So it's got a power switch, it's got an on-off switch, it's got a power cable. This, I've got the air purifier connected to it, which is this cable, and it's got this key, which is really just a little USB-A flash drive. I don't know why you need this or why they added this feature, but if you unplug this, the machine won't work. They call it a key. Seems kind of goofy to me, but whatever. It's got the dial, which makes this go up and down. It's also the start, stop, and it's got some other uses, and they're all detailed on the side here. One really nice thing I think about this machine is that it's got a built-in fan, an extractor fan. And that is a big deal. Because if you laser anything, it does create a lot of fumes, especially if you're on the diode laser, because if you're cutting things like wood, it'll create a lot of smoke. So this fan is quite powerful, and it sucks all of the smoke and everything away from your workpiece, because smoke will also interfere with the laser. So, and you'll know they were smart. You can even set this to unidirectional so that, especially when you're running diode, the laser is running away from the fan and it's sucking all the smoke this way, so it never interferes with your laser, which is very cool. And just the fumes from this thing, like when I do a business card like these, and it does this, it burns off this lacquer finish, you can smell it all through the office. When this is plugged in, you can, if you don't have the purifier, you can actually just take this hose, crack your window, and just put it out the window, and at least it'll suck the fumes and send it outside. And when you're in a small office like this, that's really important, because they are not good for you. All of the stuff coming off of these, and just generally the fumes coming off a laser. Going into the air purifier, you don't smell a thing. It is a bit loud, and you're going to hear it, but it's worth it not having my office full of smoke or fumes. So let's laser something. Here we are inside of xTool Creative Space. This is their new software. It's pretty cool. I like it a lot. So first thing, you've got your drawing surface, which is specific to the type of what you've got here. Whether it's just laser flat, which is the base system, whether you've got the rotary tool installed, open plane, meaning you don't have the bottom insert, and then the laser extension, which is the sliding table. So I've already connected to my xTool F1 here, you can see, and it's connected through USB. After you connect through USB, you can open this up, go to Wi-Fi settings, put in your Wi-Fi here, and connect through Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi is not the best, so and for me it's easier. My machine is always beside the laser, so it's just fine. So we've got laser flat. Let's try and put one of my logos in here. So first off, if we look at the items on the side, you've got image, which lets you just pick an image. You've got inserting lines and rectangles. It's got shapes. It's got a whole library of shapes, which is very cool. And you can hit these little arrows to get a whole bunch of them. There's even these holiday images. There's Christmas trees, and this is a bunch of these are for Halloween. So there's a whole bunch of these. Obviously text, vector, you can actually draw on here. And one of the coolest features they have is this AI. So you can actually type something and it'll give you an AI created image. So this is really cool. And you can see you only get a certain number of points, and you have to do something in their community to get more points. But this is a pretty cool feature. And then you can also do QR codes and barcodes. So let's do an image. We're going to do one of, let's just do my logo. Okay, so it brought it in here in full resolution. Obviously, we're going to shrink this. I've got mine set up. The units are in inches here. So let's do it about an inch. Yeah, that's close enough. All right, so there we go. So I was a bit confused at first when using this, because I kept on, okay, I don't have anything selected, and I went over here and they have all these materials, which I guess are okay. I don't tend to use the materials very often. I like to play with the settings so much. So I tend to just use user-defined material. That's just me. But they do have all these stone coaster, wood coaster, and a bunch of these match with they send you a box of a whole bunch of materials, little wood coasters, a stone coaster. So all of the things you see in here are actually inside the box for you to play with. We're going to use a black metal business card. Okay, and I was looking for strength, like the power settings and all of that, and I was quite frustrated at first because I thought those were all automated. But once you click on your the item, then this opens up and you can choose the laser type, whether you want blue light or IR, and then the dot duration, power, or DPI. These I wasn't actually thrilled with because dot duration in, I think this is what, nanoseconds. I don't think most people understand what this means, so I wish they would have just put it 0 to 100 as a rating. I guess they're being very specific. Same with the power range. I didn't really understand that there's a low power range, so you can set it between, I didn't really understand what that was for. I guess maybe if you're doing an image like this and you want different power ratings as it goes across the image, I guess that's what that's for. And then the DPI setting, I just thought this was kind of dumb. When would I ever use 1 or 20 DPI? Like, I don't get why they, why didn't this just jump into intervals? 720, 1080, like whatever those are resolutions, but whatever, it should jump. I don't know why these went so specific. I'm used to seeing like 1K, 2K, 4K kind of thing, but we'll set it at 720, which is kind of in the middle. And then bitmap mode, I'm not doing a bitmap, and I actually had to look up what all of these mean. So look it up in the instructions. We're doing a black and white image anyway, so it's just grayscale. And then we want the laser to do both directions as it's going. Okay, so let's talk about framing. When you select framing, it's going to turn the laser on and put a rectangle, or it will actually outline the image. Well, since the image is actually a square because there's no, what my cursor over is white here. If this was actually transparent, it would actually outline the image. So keep that in mind when you're doing things like this. You might want to set the image as transparent, because then you'll actually see the image that it's going to do. So I always set it at outline and not rect. So when I select framing, it will start to draw this. The only thing I didn't like about this compared to the laser peckers, when you move, because you can move this around and it'll move the frame on the card, and you'll see that in a second here. When you're doing that, it's about a 1 or 2 second delay, so you got to move it, wait for the rec, move it. The laser pecker version, it's immediate. As I move this, I see it move instantly. So I wish they would fix that so that it's a little more responsive, but you can certainly position it where you want. When you're done framing, you can turn that off, and then we'll go to process. So here, I'll show you the framing. I'm going to set up the camera and do a picture-in-picture. So I'm going to start framing. You'll hear it buzz, and you'll see that on the camera here. So as I move this around, you'll see it move on the, so you can see it's kind of jumping around. Okay, you also can change the light level on the framing here to give it more power to make that rect brighter. They do warn you that you can actually burn in the image into the onto what you're doing if you make it too bright, but it seems to be fine right now. Okay, I'm going to stop framing. Now let's actually process this. So I've got this set. I prefer to do this with the IR laser. I'm going to set this at 200, 100, 720. That's usually what I like to do for the black coated, the lacquered business cards. And let's see how long it takes. So you process this, it gives you a preview. You hit start here, and this part is a bit annoying. After you press start, you have to push the button on the machine. I wish it would just start. I don't know why I have to click a button on the machine after I do this, but okay, so that took 2 minutes and 6 seconds just to do that. The resolution is really, really good. I probably could have put that down a bit, but really good. I'm very happy with that. Obviously, it's permanent, no smearing, and I love the kind of the gray color of it. It looks really cool. I didn't put the shield down just so you guys could see that a little easier on the camera. All right, let's try some other things. Now we're going to try some metal. So this is just one of the included pieces. It's like a dog tag. It's very shiny, so it'll be interesting how this does. I'm going to set this one with the IR laser on max dot duration, max power at 720 dpi. I've shrunk the image just a little bit so that it fits. Let's see how long it takes and let it go. So that was one pass. I can definitely feel that. I would definitely be happy with that for a maker's mark. And that's just one pass. And that took just over 4 minutes. I remember that I used the maximum dot duration. So 3,000 nanoseconds per dot. So really cool. Obviously that's a nice shiny piece of metal. Let's see how it does with some high carbon steel. So this is a piece of 80 CRV2. Obviously just a piece of stock, not hardened or anything. Let's see how it does. So this was only one pass. It did not go as deep as the mild steel. So definitely this would require multiple passes. This also isn't shiny steel. So yeah, but this would match if you had a Damascus pattern or something like that. This took about 4 minutes to do this one because it's at quite a high resolution. But I'm pretty confident this would look nice. So I'm going to do another 4 passes. I'll do another one with 4 passes and just see how that looks. So that's 4 passes. That feels really good. I would definitely use that for my touch mark. So definitely successful. So let's move on to one of the attachments. We're going to use the sliding table because I'm going to laser etch the outline of a new knife model onto this piece of steel. And obviously it's too big to fit inside this area, so we're going to use the sliding table. What I've done is taken my image in knife print, my design in knife print, exported as a DXF, so I have a vector image, so it should draw much faster because it's not going to do a bitmap image. So let's get the table installed and I'll show you how that works. So now I've got the slide extension installed. You notice it's got these kind of ribs on it. That's so if you're cutting something, you're not damaging anything. They're meant to, absorb that light. So I've got this piece of steel on here. Let's just frame. Okay, so it only shows you the front of the image. So I'm just gonna move this a little bit. It'll be about here, and if we turn the knob, we can move the table here. I think that's where we want it, right about there. All right, so let's try and engrave this. Well, that's really cool. So here you can see I got the profile on my knife on here. I can easily use that to grind the profile or cut it out. And I got my drill holes. And that was super easy, just exporting a DXF from knife print and just putting it on here. And if I wanted to do a couple, I could probably do maybe 2 or 3 of these, if not maybe 6 if they were small, and just put them on here, laser them. So now we're going to take a look at the rotary attachment. So I've got it installed here with the chuck as well as the bars. The instruction says to remove the bars, but what I'm going to do is pretty small, so I don't really need to remove these. The chuck is really cool. It's just like a 3-jaw chuck in a lathe. It's got these soft jaws that you can put something into and turn it. So very, very cool. If you're doing like a mug or something like that, you could just put it on top of the rollers, and these rollers go different. You can switch the widths for different diameters. So what we're going to do, since it's almost Christmas time, is we're going to do one of these. So I'm going to put an ornament in here, tighten this down. There, and they give you a little chuck key. And I'm just going to spin it and make sure, oh yeah, it's perfectly arranged. So I'm going to tighten it down. All right, and they even give you this little piece, which is kind of a little sponge. I'm just going to push this against it. And now, you'll see that that's pretty cool. So I'm going to engrave Christmas 2023 on this, and we'll see what that looks like. So there it is, Christmas 2023. The first time I ran this, I accidentally had it on flat mode, and you could kind of see that that's a little bit warped as opposed to this one, which looks very clear because it was rotating the piece. So very cool. Well, folks, there you have it, my review of the xTool F1 laser. I'm really happy with this laser. I do, in fact, like it better than my LaserPecker 3. I like the software better, and it came with a bunch of extra stuff. It was just a really good laser overall. I even did this stone coaster of Molly the Shop Dog. So pretty cool. Definitely check it out. There's links down in the description if you want to get one of these. I highly recommend it. It's great for marking maker's marks and etching steel, so you can't go wrong. Thanks, folks. We'll see you on the next one.